Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I watched as much of the Laker game as I could watch. I couldn't catch all of it tonight, but did see the highlights and a good portion of, I'd say, the beginning of the fourth quarter into the third quarter, that kind of thing. Saw some of that, saw some of the second quarter. So I was in and out basically. And you know, the first thing that is important for me to mention is just Carmelo Anthony continues to shine in a Laker uniform. His shooting was lights out tonight. He looked like New York, Denver Carmelo as usual for us, and uh, you could just see how much work he's put in on his body. He's in much better shape than he's been in years, and I would say his conditioning is much better than it was even when he was in his prime. He just seems to have more pep in his step. He seems to be more ready for the running. He seems to be um, as sharp on his mechanics and as healthy as he's looked maybe ever, in my opinion. And it's just a testament to the journey. I look at him and Dwight Howard as guys who've been on hellified journeys through this league, uh, and have found themselves in a situation where they get a chance to win a championship. Of course, for Dwight, another. But I'm just very excited for those guys, and it's just great to see them shine in this uniform. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Also, Russell Westbrook played great tonight. I was very encouraged by the fact that he was continuing to shoot that mid-range bank shot that I was saying that I think he should take more often. It's a shot that he could get whether he has the ball in his hands or is catching and shooting. I just feel like it's a very comfortable position area for him to float around that elbow to that mid-range side of the side of the floor areas where he can just shoot that little mid-range 18-foot bank shot. And if he gets that shot 3-4 times a game, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I really am. He's going to be aggressive, but I think that shot is always going to be there for him. I think it's a shot he's very comfortable with. It's a shot he's been shooting his whole career at a very, very good level. And being that he has a tough time finding his way in this offense, I just think that's a very easy thing for us to work into the equation to just make sure that he gets that shot off a couple times a game. Um, I think we're better for it. Uh, so I like what I saw from him tonight. I thought he was much smarter with his shot selection, with his ball handling. He looked more comfortable with the players out there. He looks more comfortable. You can just see that time is starting to pay off with those guys working with each other, playing with one another in practice, things like that. You're starting to see the gelling process begin. And I think going up against a Houston team who was struggling mightily tonight was just what we needed. We needed a team that we could take our foot off the gas a little bit in terms of the intensity, but also a team that we could have, a lot of respect for in terms of knowing that they're going to be a team in the future that's going to give us some trouble, so we had better take them seriously tonight. And I think we did that. We didn't approach them like OKC, even though they did cut the lead down to 11 here and there. We took them seriously and we closed them out. Um, that thing I said about the Eastern Conference, it applies to the West in regards to having to deal with young teams that are not going to let you sit your starters. You think you got a blowout going, and we couldn't get AD and Braun and Westbrook off the floor. Like, they just wouldn't let us get them off the floor. The moment we thought we could chill, uh, they would make a run. So that bothered me a bit. I just want to see um, opportunities for us to rest those guys. I'm sure our coaching staff does as well. So that's going to be important. Just foregoing opportunities um, sometimes to play them in situations like this. Um, Even though they help us get a win, and we need to be winning right now because we got off to a slow start. At the end of the day, I look at a 15-point lead, 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I'm willing to risk it. I just don't want to see our guys out there, not the older guys, but our coaching staff felt differently. We got the win, so I'm not complaining. We do play the Rockets the very next game. It's a back-to-back. We'll be flying out there to Houston, I believe, and I'm sure they'll be more comfortable on their home floor. What I saw from Houston was a team that just kind of was shell-shocked. This is their first time going up against this Laker team, and it's a lot of star power on this team. For those youngest kids, the youngest teams in the game, they have to go up against. Uh, I liked what I saw from Kevin Porter on the defensive end against LeBron James. He bodied him up. LeBron was trying to score over this kid and did have some concern, some trouble, and I didn't know Kevin had that in his arsenal. I know of him to be an offensive player with a lot of ball handling skills and a lot of sauce and natural ability and stuff like that. But I wasn't quite aware of his willingness to take on assignments like LeBron James in the paint. Uh, and did a good job, like a really, really good job. So, although he didn't have the greatest game, he's not starting off the greatest. He's coming back from injury. This is his first game back from injury. And I was encouraged by what I saw from that young fella. Um, ups and downs, but I was encouraged. Let's see. Jaylen Green looked a little shell shocked to me, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He looked like it was a lot for him to take on this particular game, this particular night. He's struggling just in general right now, just for what it's worth. But I think ultimately this is still very, very, very early to be concerned about any of these rookies of any kind. I just think that if they're balling out, enjoy it. They will have their moments where they'll struggle, and if they're struggling, don't think it's gonna last forever because they will ball out. That's just the kind of draft class this is, and Jaylen Green is at the top of it. So even though he's struggling, he doesn't look like the greatest rookie out there. I don't think he's a front runner for Rookie of the Year right now. At the end of the day, 2, 3, 4 years from now, this guy will be making all-star teams in his sleep. So don't worry about him. He's struggling a little bit right now, but that's of no concern. The reality is that is a superior athlete. And once he starts learning how to play the game, which you know what I mean by that. Once he starts learning how to be a pro in the NBA, that's what I'm trying to say. Once he learns how to really play the game, his athleticism will carry him. So he'll be fine. I'm not worried about that kid at all. It was just a tough night for the Rockets, and I was very happy about that because I'm a Laker fan, But looking at them, I don't think we were able to really gauge exactly how good we played in that first half because of how poorly they played. They just made it kind of difficult for us to to really, you know what I mean? We were going at them, but they were just coughing the ball up, turning it over, fumbling off their foot, that kind of thing. It was just a lot of that early on. But, when you're dealing with baby teams, at any given moment, they just turn on the switch. And that's exactly what we saw in the fourth quarter. They down by like 26, and all of a sudden they just start doing stuff, KP starts getting lobs off. They put in Kevin Martin Jr. and not Kevin Martin, excuse me, Kenyon Martin, son. And he started dunking all over the place. I like what I see from Sengun. They're not starting him. They're bringing him along slowly. Of course, if we mentioned Daniel Tice is starting, which is fine. I think Daniel's earned that, and that's going to be just fine, I think. But what I'm seeing from Alperen is just smart basketball play, He doesn't force much. He doesn't jump when he doesn't have to. Extremely fundamental, man, and that is the makings of something very special. Every player that has come into this league, and I've mentioned this before in regards to Brandon Ingram, anybody that comes in with an emphasis on fundamentals and not trying to do too much is always in a very, very encouraging sign for me, especially if they're a high-level prospect, because that tells me that they take what they're doing very seriously, and they're probably going to continue to add things to what it is that they do because they're starting at a fundamental base level, and I love that when I see that from rookies. So that's what I'm seeing from Alperen. He's just really, really taking his time, picking his spots, not forcing stuff. And I think as he continues to play minutes with this particular team in the first half of the season, you'll start seeing him rise up the rookie rankings. I think it's just inevitable. It's inevitable at this point. Because I just look at him and say he affects too much on the basketball floor. Even though his scoring's not coming along, he's getting assists, he's getting rebounds, he's getting defensive stats as well. And usually, if that is the base for which a rookie starts, especially if he has size to begin with, good things will happen. So I'm encouraged by that. I wanted to see Josh Christopher. I'm not happy about how the Rockets are not giving him minutes early. I like, I'm not saying that this is something that they should be trying to rush him in and taking minutes from other guys like Eric Gordon. I don't think that. I think Eric Gordon played fantastic, and I think he stabilizes a lot for them. So it's not like I want him to start, but I do want to see Josh Christopher out there. I just think he's too good of a prospect to not get the minutes. And also that big center that they got too. Garuba. I didn't see much of him tonight. Now I know I saw highlights. He's a defensive player, so he probably didn't pop up in the highlights. But yeah, he's an encouraging prospect as well. That defensive power forward guy they got down there, um, Usman Garuba, I believe is how you say his name, and he's going to be a good player on the defensive side. I didn't see much of him, so yeah, the Houston Rockets, they're gonna figure out what their rotation is. I think that's what it's about. They got to figure out who they want to play and how, who they trust, and how well these players develop, and if they can get them all to develop at once. Like I said, I think this is one of the best young teams ever assembled. I mean, ever. They didn't make me look too good tonight, but um, I'm not wavering from that. This is like picking up a stock that you know is going to go skyrocket to the moon. Like that's exactly what the Rockets are. They're headed to the moon. So just hold on to them, and I guarantee you, give them some time, they'll figure it out. Now, as far as my Lakers are concerned, more greatness from Avery Bradley on the defensive end, stabilizing what we do as guards. Um, our guards position is what I'm trying to say. Him and Bazemore have been very, very, very essential in helping us just solidify what we're doing while we're trying to wait for our guards to come back and work Austin into the equation. Um, Anthony Davis was good tonight. He didn't really do too much on the offensive end in terms of scoring. Neither did Bron, but they were very, very active on the boards and defensively and just doing all the stuff they needed to do. It wasn't really a stats type of game tonight because, like I said, it was so herky-jerky, so ugly. The kids were coughing the ball up so much till was really no rhythm to get into. But our guys did great. DJ had another fantastic night. He's growing on me, I've been hard on DeAndre Jordan, but he's been a very effective center for us. I like what he's doing. He doesn't have to do too much. Just be long and catch lobs and rebound the ball and just do the things that he's doing. And his conditioning is coming around. So I don't know if anybody's talking about him or not, but I have liked what I saw from DJ. I felt we went big tonight in the fourth quarter. I think that had more to do with matchups than them changing their philosophy, but I did think it correlated with us winning the basketball game. I just feel like we're a so much better team if we don't worry about the spacing as much because we have elite 40% shooters all over our guard positions. So all we need to do is just make sure one or two of those guys are on the floor at a time with the superstars, and then just keep a center on the floor like Dwight or DJ for size. I just don't understand why everyone needs to be able to shoot on this team at the same time. I understand the importance of that across the league and other rosters, but for what we do, we really don't need 5 3-point shooters on the floor at all times. We more so need rebounding and defense. And I think that DJ solidifies both of those things for us if we accompany him with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So we did that tonight. We had that size on the floor. We took advantage of it. And, of course, Carmelo Anthony, again, when he shoots like this, you're not going to beat us very much, and that's what we saw out there. Him going for almost 30 points. It's like if he's going to shoot like this, we're going to have a nice regular season. Really nice regular season. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at, Austin Reeves' progression, there were some things tonight that he could improve upon. I thought that he didn't leave a lot of his weapons, and that's lingo we use on this channel for players that offensive players facilitators set up. That's how I use them. I consider them weapons. Your shooters, your slashers, they're all weapons for the facilitator on this channel. So he didn't help his weapons tonight. He in some areas, he would dribble a little too much, be a little too conservative with the clock with the ball in his hands. I think he's moving a little too slow. I like how patient he is, but I thought he was a little too patient tonight and kind of forced some guys into some rushed shots, some shot clock violation situations, a couple sequences like that. Not very meaningful in terms of them harming the game, but ultimately two things that I think he's going to do a great job of working on and identifying. And I'm sure he'll speed up the pace a little bit for himself. So, yeah, that's what I want to see him do. Just, he's already a fantastic facilitator, but now it's about learning how to get guys the ball a bit sooner so that they'll have more time to work. So that was interesting there. Malik Monk is kind of slumping low key, even though he's played such great, smart basketball to start the season. His shot isn't as consistent um, as you know it's going to become. He'll come around. I just think that maybe his legs aren't under him right now. I think that he's still probably working back from that injury. And when a shooter has lower extremity injuries, chances are it's going to affect their shot. I think the same thing's kind of happening with Dame. I don't think he's telling anybody he's probably injured though, because he had another one of them terrible games tonight. I don't want to get too far away from the Lakers, but he shot poorly tonight. Now I'm starting to wonder what his health is like. But we'll talk about that another time. In the meantime, like I said, the Lakers got another game against the Houston Rockets again, back to back, which I thought was kind of sucks for us because we're an older team. We don't want to run with young teams, but we got away with this one tonight because the team didn't play well. So hopefully in the next game, they won't carry the momentum from their hot fourth quarter into a hot start in their gym, because I kind of expect that, to be completely honest with you. Kind of expect that. They ended the game on a high note. They ended the game on a couple good dunks, kicking their legs out, feeling real good about themselves. And they know they play us again, and they know they play on their home floor. So what I saw in the first half of this game was them a little shell-shocked about this Laker team. What I expect to see in the next game is them feeling a lot better about themselves, knowing that they can do some things against us. So expect them to be a very different, high-level team. That energy is going to be out through the roof. I think you'll probably see more Kenyon Martin Jr. I think you'll see more of him because he played so well in that fourth quarter. I think he earned those minutes. I think they saw something that worked there. So I'm expecting Silas to play him a bit more. And, we just got to be ready. We got to be ready for them. Green ain't going to continue to struggle in his gym. Porter ain't going to continue to struggle in his gym. Wood played great tonight. He's going to continue to be an all-star level player. And this is not what you expect to see from the Rockets if you were to play them every night. You understand what I'm saying to you? They had a bad night. So if you expect them to continue to struggle, I think it's a good chance they do. But I think it would be very smart to expect them to come out and explode. I think it would be wise to expect them to come out looking like a playoff team. And we should beat them. They shouldn't have any success against us. We should be able to overpower them just like we did tonight. But I'll say this. OKC came back and beat us. I think this team is better than OKC. I think that. So take that for what it's worth. So yeah, that's what I got, man. Happy that the Lakers won. We're stringing together some victories in a row, taking advantage of a homestand that's been working for us. So I'm happy about that. Health is everything, of course. We're waiting for our guys to get back healthy. THT and all those guys, man. So that's going to be the story. Can we continue to stay healthy? Who's going to play in the next game? Is Braun going to go? Because we're in a stage where I wouldn't be surprised to see us start resting people at some point. I don't know to what extent or how they'll go about that, but I don't expect to see the big three every night, especially on some of these games going into Houston, going into various places where they're not expected to make the playoffs. Games where we think we could probably win without the 3 stars, I think we might actually go without playing 1 or 2 of them in certain nights. So maybe this will be one of those games. Who knows? Who absolutely knows? But yeah, man. Yeah. I'm sure there's some more things to talk about. I want to put more emphasis on Bazemore, more respect on his name. He's just doing a lot of good things, being a real help to his team out there, shooting the basketball, being effective, rebounding the ball, just doing all the little things, help the team just kind of stay together. And that's ultimately what I'm so very pleased about. How much stability we've had from the others, from just about everybody who would be considered outside of that superstar range. They're not being a problem for the stars. They're not being distractions in terms of their play being too erratic. They're not taking chances they shouldn't take. They're not particularly taking bad shots or anything like that. They're just playing smart ball, doing their jobs, playing team ball, passing the rock, being out in open court, being willing to run and do the extra things. Just the effort stuff that I like to see from our guards. So. And forwards. So kudos to the Lakers for continuing to push. Kudos to the coaching staff for continuing to push them. And it's a good win. It's a good win. You take advantage of a team that's struggling. You don't let them get a victory in a game like this. So That's what I was happy about, man. Cut the turnovers down some. That was big. Um, you know, Bron's continuing to stay efficient. It's very important. I mentioned that reverse dunk that he had in that second quarter. Man, this dude is still doing stuff that shouldn't be done athletically by nobody his age. I'm being honest with you. The way he looked tonight, he could go another 8 years. I would not be surprised to see LeBron James sign another 5-year contract when this thing is over with, a 4-year contract. Don't be surprised. I won't be surprised if he retires either, but he's got enough left to you could totally see him extending this thing past 2 years from now. I mean, that reverse dunk told me everything I need to see. Um, and then DJ had another one. Bazemore got a reverse dunk to DJ. So if our old guys are getting off the floor like that and Carmelo's shooting like this, man, this regular season is gonna be fun. I do wonder if we're getting off to a hot start and it's gonna bother us in terms of like peaking is ridiculous to say, but you don't want to see a guy like Carmelo's legs start to go away. You know what I mean? You don't want his kickstand to disappear or nothing like that. You want to keep him in this rhythm, keep him with this confidence, because he really is the equalizer in terms of whether we're playing well or not. He has been a stable sense of scoring for us, and we just don't want that to go away at all. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him. The great Carmelo Anthony. So that's what I got, man. That's where I'm at with it. I'm gonna, kind of relax now. I got a little bit of a headache, so I'm gonna put some headphones on, listen to the latest playlist I made, and knock out, man. But I thank you guys for rocking with me. Great win, Lakers, and see you again. BDF 44. Peace.